Welcome back to another episode of Millennial Movie Club. We are back again. I'm Jaz, and a fun fact about me that I guess pertains to this film is that I once did attend like a sex party. Sorry, everyone. Not just to be like, what is this all about?
Okay.
There's this like members only like club here in New York, and I was like, I'm just so curious. Like, what I need, curiosity will kill me one day. I was seeing somebody who was a member, and so I went just to check it out, and I was like, this is so much less fancy than I thought it would be. The space was like kind of gross.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was just like somebody's loft apartment, and it like wasn't a particularly busy night, which made it even weirder. Like when you see stuff like in movies, it's like a room full of like bodies and you don't know who's who, what's what. There were like too few people, so you really knew who everybody was.
Yeah.
And like I just sat, it was like the founder's birthday that night. This story is going longer than it should have been a fun fact, but this movie triggered me. It was like the founder's birthday, and so we thought it was just going to be like, oh, like a big birthday bash. It ended up feeling more like actually just like an intimate birthday party with just like their friends and
you were there.
Us.
Yeah.
And I just remember like there was like a fire eater woman, and she like brought out a birthday cake for him and then sat on it. And the rest was National Geographics.
Yeah, I think like when we think about sex parties and, you know, all of that taboo kind of kink, movies are very full of sexy people.
Yes.
So if you go to some sort of like key party or swingers thing, like you're seeing all types of people.
Oh, just the regular ass people you run into at the laundromat.
Yeah. They got to get their rocks off too. Don't yuck.
They deserve it. They absolutely deserve it.
But
I think too,
not everybody is going to be having a six pack and like D level jugs.
Correct. Or D level D.
Yeah, that too.
But you know what? In a way, I was just like, oh, this literally feels like watching National Geographic. Like humans are just animals.
Yeah, you're like Jane Goodall in there. You're
literally.
Just like, I'm here just like looking,
observing, trying to speak a language
There's
with
like
them.
People moving in the corner, and you're just like kind of creeping down and peering. Right?
We must preserve the species.
And like, this lady's kink is to watch, and you're like, no, well, sure.
Well, kind of. I'm just actually taking notes.
I'm actually just like committing all this to memory so I can write a book.
So I can talk about it on a podcast one day.
One day.
Anyway, what about you, Jackson?
I'm Jackson. Hello. It's so good to be back.
So good.
I'm so glad that you let me back in this room.
That first episode was just a trial, and guess what? You passed.
Really ready to yank on the door. It's going to be locked.
No.
And a fun fact about me is that I met Tom Cruise.
Really? I did not know this about you.
That's because I just made that up. But
damn it. I was going to be like, is this where you tell me you're part of the Church of Scientology?
Literally, my fun fact was going to be that Tom Cruise invited me to a Scientology meeting. And honestly, I'm going to be honest with you here. I'm going to be real.
Yeah.
Can I be real?
Please.
If he invited me, I would go.
Oh, it's the same as the sex party thing. I would need to know what's going on in there.
But I do feel like a sex party, you kind of have like an out where you're just like, wash my hands clean of it. You're like, not for me.
That's true.
Scientology, they got their hooks in my
Once you're in the door. Yeah.
Now,
also,
if it skyrocketed my career.
I was going to say, don't get me wrong. I have considered it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've never like actually gone and taken their little like IQ test or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyone who joins the church becomes super fucking famous and rich.
If they want to. I mean, there's normal people there.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they want to, which I do.
Yeah.
What if we did it together and then made a podcast about it? No, because then they
Going
literally
clear,
will take you out.
Going clearer.
They will kill you.
Oh, yeah.
They'll absolutely murder you.
Shelly Miskovich is missing.
Fun facts abound. If you're wondering why we're talking about all this, / if you truly didn't, if you just did one of those close your eyes and flip your finger around and just hit a podcast episode and you didn't know what you were getting into, we are talking about Eyes Wide Shut.
We are. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a first watch for both of us.
It is a first watch for both of us.
Yeah.
It's one of those, I've always heard about it.
Same. And I've seen like things parody or reference it.
Right.
But I've never watched it.
And I have to say my expectations were like very groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess in some ways, sure, like in a world before like real HBO. You know what I mean?
That late night HBO.
That late night.
Ooh.
When you gotta like put it on when your parents are asleep, but you have the last button queued up so that if they come in, you could just
channel.
press previous channel.
Yeah. And it goes back to Disney Channel.
Yeah.
But you were watching blurry porn on the other one.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My dad used to leave me in hotel rooms alone.
Another fun fact.
Another fact about me. But I discovered HBO, and like, let's be real, the stuff that was on HBO late at night wasn't actually like hardcore.
It was soft core.
But you know what? For a 12-year-old, that was hard. That was hard. Hard enough.
Yeah.
So I was having fun. And I'm sure people watching this movie with their parents in theaters were like, oh.
Wait, first of all, who the fuck? Please write in if you watch this in theaters with your parents.
Like, imagine your parents just being like, should we go to the movies? Nicole and Tom are in it.
Nicole and Tom, absolute blockbuster stars.
Married.
Hollywood's hottest couple at
we
this
gotta
time.
go see this movie. And then you're sitting through
we
that.
love Tom Cruise, love Mission Impossible.
Oh. Loved Nicole Kidman in...
Oh, damn. Okay, so this was the year after Practical Magic came out.
So I'm sure people are like, Nicole, we like her.
We love her.
Yeah,
saucy,
movie stars.
Witchy. Well, first let's set the scene, shall we? After Dr. Bill Hartford's wife, Alice, admits to having sexual fantasies about a man she met, Bill becomes obsessed with having a sexual encounter. He discovers an underground sexual group, that's putting it lightly, and attends one of their meetings and quickly discovers that he is in over his head. Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah, attends one of their meetings. It's like sexy AA.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just trying to explore some things, maybe 12-step this.
They're like, sir, this is the Illuminati.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Oops.
Wrong meeting.
The cast and crew, to put it simply, I don't even need to go into detail on these actors. We know who Tom Cruise is. We know who Nicole Kidman is.
I have a question for Nicole Kidman.
Yeah. Yes.
Girl, do you owe someone money? Why are you saying yes to every single
project?
Thing?
I mean,
she said,
another day, another wig.
Do I get to wear a wig? Then yes. And they're like, great, you can do this 13-episode Netflix show and then 17-episode HBO show. She's like, yes.
I mean, I've got some demons I've got to distract from.
Keith at home's got gambling problems. I've got to be working. And it's that little Irish.
I've got to escape my husband who he hasn't changed his hair since 2005.
He's got a great
It is going Irish.
Yeah.
Well, she's got a lot going on always. And then, of course, you know, they are together at this time. They are married.
Yes.
This ties in with who directed the film, Stanley Kubrick. This was his last film ever. He died before the release.
Died.
Straight up died. This movie
like,
killed him.
I did everything I need to do on this earth with this film. I'm going to die now.
Died before the final edit.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people were kind of bummed about because, like, he set out for this to be an NC-17.
Yeah. I don't know if you have this or saw this, but there's, like, computer-generated people in front of some of the sex people on the party.
Ooh.
Because to give it an R rating, they had to cover up some of the like thrusting and stuff, so they computer-generated people to be standing in front of them.
That's like before its time.
Yeah.
No P's, no V's.
And a total boner killer for the rest of us.
Honestly. We were like, we've been waiting for 2.5 hours to get to the sex cult party.
So long. This movie is
so long. I know we haven't given any opinions yet, but
oh my god,
I was like, oh, you died after making this movie? Good.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's a little harsh.
Do you like any other Kubrick films?
No.
Okay.
I find them, and I know like that is kind of like a cardinal sin in the world of cinema. And to be fair, I haven't seen some of his others, but the ones that I have seen, I had a similar problem to this one where it was just so slow. And the dialogue, it felt like one big Meisner exercise. If you went to acting school, you know what this means, and if you didn't,
congratulations, you probably have a real job.
Yeah, if you didn't waste, if you're not still in debt for a degree, that doesn't matter. Let me fill you in on this very important shit we learned. So Meisner technique is an acting technique, and the exercises that you typically do are just repetitions. So you'd be like, I like your shirt.
You like my shirt.
I like your shirt.
You like my shirt.
I like your shirt. And then you just repeat until it changes. But you're not allowed to change it. It has to change on its own.
And then you hand the teacher $11,000 that you'll be in debt for forever.
That's correct.
And you're like, I like your paycheck. And they're like,
I like my paycheck.
Thank you.
You're like, I'm broke. And they're like,
you're broke.
According to the actor who played Nick, the piano player.
Todd Field. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
That's the writer and director of Tar, the Cate Blanchett movie.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
He leveled up so hard.
Created Lydia Tar.
Truly leveled up in every single respect.
Tar heads rise.
Now, he said the script would change like by the hour, and like half the scenes ended up improvised, which I kind of felt. Did you feel that?
I don't know if I necessarily felt that, but there is parts of it that just seem to like feel lived in, maybe a little too long.
No, here's the thing. Not all actors are improvisers.
Right.
And so moments where it just be like, I don't actually know this is not what I signed on to do.
Just give me the line.
Just give me the line. Shall we hop into some reviews?
Go ahead.
Besides the ones I'm already spilling out of my mouth because I could not wait to talk about this. Juan Barkin from the Miami New Times writes, a film so willing to explore the limitations of masculinity, the limitations of heterosexuality, and the limitations of what fantasy looks like for a man who has none, is a decidedly interesting and queer work with which to end one's filmmaking career.
I feel like that is before the reclamation of queer, and
yes,
so
it
probably
is.
just means weird.
Weird, yeah.
I kind of agree with that.
I
that
agree too.
Yeah.
Your wife had one sexual fantasy about somebody else, and you just went on a fucking bender.
He goes crazy.
He goes absolutely batshit.
He's getting war black and white flashbacks of that naval officer screwing his wife constantly. However, never mouth-on-mouth contact, just a lot of cheek licking. Mm-hmm.
Did you notice this? A lot of making out with the side of her face. I wonder if that was in the contract. I guess the whole point of the film is like, oh, he's not a jealous guy, but then it turns out he is a really jealous guy. Fun fact, in order to make that more real, Kubrick banned Tom Cruise from the set for like many, many days of shooting just to like keep them apart and like get him to feel jealous or get him to feel sort of weird feeling. He did a lot of weird stuff with them. He had them sleep in their on-set apartment bed. He had them like stay in that apartment, pick out the curtains.
I read that they also signed open contracts. So two of the characters, I don't know if you have this or saw this, but they had to be recast in reshoots. So
yes.
Ziegler and the woman that plays Marion were originally played by other people.
Yes.
Like Harvey Keitel
yes.
played Ziegler. And then when they had to do reshoots, they were already booked with something else, so they couldn't do it. But Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman signed open contracts that until the movie was done, they were willing and there to do it.
This film won a Guinness World Record for the longest constant movie shoot. This movie shot for 400 days. For what it is, you know, we're not like shooting the new Star Wars.
Yeah.
We're not dealing with like a ton of wild effects.
That does seem a really long time for something that is very like run of the mill.
It took 95 takes for Tom Cruise to walk through a doorway. If someone made me walk through a doorway 95 times, I'd be like, you're out of your fucking gourd.
And of course there's something probably at this point in their careers that they sign these contracts. They're like, I want to work with this person.
Yes.
Let's do this together.
Totally.
This is Stanley Kubrick, right?
This is right. We understand the method behind his madness. We're going there. We're all method. We're all like,
we just want to be a part of this. Like, right. Like he's not going to be here very much longer. And then they're on the
grant
shoot
this
for
man his dying wish.
400 days. I'd be like, day 360. I'm rethinking. I'm like, we're almost a year into this. I'm living in England with my short husband and my 2 kids.
That's the thing. They weren't even shooting, even though the movie takes place in New York. They shot the whole thing in London.
And you can tell.
You can totally tell. It's like watching How I Met Your Mother, a show that's like steeped in basically like being a New Yorker, and the whole thing shot in LA in a fake city, and you're like, bleh, boo. Roger Ebert, our kooky dead grandpa, writes, this masking evoked Austin Powers' famous genital hide-and-seek sequence. I have now seen the polished version of the technique and will say it is done well, even though it should not have been done at all. Kubrick died in March. It's hard to believe he would have accepted this digital hocus pocus. Eyes Wide Shut should have been released as he made it, either unrated or NC-17 for adult audiences.
Ebert said, give us the schlong.
Ebert said,
show stump.
Give us that hibbity-dibbity.
Show us booty hole. Show us hole.
If we're going to have a debate about whether or not we're going to give Dame Judi Dench a CGI cat butthole and cats the movie musical.
Yeah.
We can let the movie about a sex cult have some sex in it. Especially, like, we're almost there. We're seeing full bush, full tits.
We see a lot of bush and a lot of boob.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lot of boob.
A lot of boob.
But I was thinking, honestly, that would be a pretty good gig because you probably get paid a lot for doing nudity and you don't have to show your face at all.
Yeah. I was like thinking, though, what's that audition process like? Do they just have you come in with a sack over your head and they're like, the body's right.
The body is fine.
You're great.
You're it, babe.
You're it.
I did some digging and found some Amazon reviews. Kevin Carnahan writes, Kubrick's only bad film. Ooh, Americans are so repressed. Ooh, sex is so scary. Masks and rituals, please. A married couple faces moderate sexual temptation and does next to nothing about it, and they're shaken to the core. Look, safe sex between consenting adults is good, moral, and healthy. I have profound contempt for people so hung up on monogamy they're trembling with terror when they face temptation. Get over it. Have a good time. Play safe. Be truthful with your partner. This guy wants to swing.
I don't think
you
he
and
wants
your
to.
wife.
Mama, he does
Oh,
swing.
he's doing
Okay.
it, and he's tired of taking heat for it.
He said, I'm speaking up as the representative from the polyamorous community.
He felt betrayed by Kubrick in this film.
And he was like, and what I'm seeing on here is lame.
He's saying, you guys, get over it.
You don't know the half of it.
Liberate yourself.
You don't know the half of it.
You don't need a mask to fuck around.
Okay, we're doing all that crazy stuff, full face.
This next review is called Informative but Dangerous to Watch. If you are a believer, it's probably not a good idea to indulge in this kind of film.
Believer in what?
No shade to anyone else's belief system. Vague.
Yeah.
But personally, I got very ill after watching this movie.
Uh-oh.
It could have just been something I ate. However, I truly think I just was not supposed to watch this. It is full of ritualistic things. Great film and perspective, however, not for me.
She said, I ate hot Cheeto sushi and watched Eyes Wide Shut for the first time, and you won't believe it, but the devil came through the screen. It's like...
My asshole was on a fire. I'm
No.
pretty sure it was hellfire from this movie.
Don't blame the gas station sushi. I think Kubrick put evil spirits in this movie.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I have to stick with that.
If you are a believer...
Mind you, a believer in what? We don't know.
We'll never know.
No.
We'll truly never know.
You know who wrote that? The God Warrior from Wife Swap.
Basically that. That's correct.
She said, if you believe in God, you can stay in my house. And if you watch Eyes Wide Shut, get out.
Get out.
You are not a Christian.
And last one, weird and uncomfortable watch. The acting looked forced the whole time, like the actors were uncomfortable with the environment or direction they were given. Felt like watching someone's bizarre sex dream, and I won't let anybody forget the way Nicole Kidman wiped in the beginning of the movie. Not sure she knows where lady parts are located. Okay.
Exposed that Nicole Kidman doesn't have a normal vagina.
You know what my thought is this was clearly written by a man. What men probably don't realize is that women have to wipe from front to back. So you go behind yourself to get... So he might think she was wiping her ass. But sir...
She was in that dress on the toilet while her husband was getting ready to take in the biggest shit.
Yeah.
She said, oh no.
I will never let anybody forget. Never forget how Nicole Kidman wiped an eye.
They're like, yeah, and never forget 9/11. And he's like, never forget. No. Nicole Kidman wiped weird. I have one lunatic review from the insane asylum that is Letterboxd.
Please.
Also, I am on Letterboxd. It's Jackie Peeps.
Ooh,
Yeah.
You will find it in the description of
Oh
the
yeah,
episode.
put it in there. You can follow me.
Yeah.
I go to the movies all the time.
Jackson's, honestly, I started a movie podcast, which is hilarious because I'm not even a cinephile. I'm just a comedian who likes to talk about shit and make fun of movies. Jackson is actually way deeper
I'm both
in cinema. Yeah, he's both.
I'm both.
So don't forget who you loved first, but he is technically better at this than me.
Letterboxd user Nora writes, the extent to which this movie hates male nudity is hilarious. Like, a woman sacrifices herself just so Tom Cruise won't have to get his dick out. I'm cackling. And that's true.
That's absolutely true.
We get Nicole Kidman in the first 5 minutes butt naked in front of them.
Immediately.
She's never looked better.
I mean,
she's so hot.
She's so hot. She's always been so hot.
Those little round glasses with her curly hair. I'm like, you're beautiful.
Her with that look is very like, I want to see that as like the young Professor McGonagall.
Ooh.
In her like sexy era.
Not you thinking McGonagall needs a sexy era.
She's never been out of her sexy era, but this is just her younger sexy era.
Yeah, she looks so good. And then there's like, I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan. I don't come from a Tom Cruise family. My mom doesn't like Tom Cruise.
No.
Never seen a Mission Impossible.
No.
I'm not that type of girl. Does he look absolutely insane in every movie? Because in this movie, every line is like, it's delivered like this.
Can you show to the camera?
Yeah. He's like, I think I need to go to this party. And you're like, dude, either he's doing rails of coke right before Kubrick is like, get on set.
Yeah.
Or he's just the intensity of being that short is like vibrating through him.
Well, first of all, even if you're not a huge fan or know that much of his lore, there's no one on earth, I think, that hasn't been paying attention that doesn't know he's like very intense, like jump on Oprah's couch intense because he has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Deep in the Church of Scientology intense, like does his own stunts in Mission Impossible intense.
You want to get into the plot of this?
Let's dive into this mother effing plot.
For how long it is, the plot isn't overly involved.
No, because all the length comes from all the dead air
And the pubic hair.
Dead air and pubic hair. If I was renaming the titles of these episodes with not the movie title, that would be the title of this episode.
So we're in New York City.
Mm-hmm. Are we?
Technically. And we meet Dr. William, goes by Bill Harford, and his wife Alice, and their daughter Helena.
In their massive apartment.
Gorgeous apartment.
Gorgeous.
But massive.
Yes.
They're attending a Christmas party hosted by Bill's patient, Mr. Ziegler. And while we're at the Christmas party, Bill realizes that he knows the pianist that's up on the stage. So he's like, I know that guy. That's Nick Nightingale. We went to med school together, and he dropped out to be a pianist. And look, now he's famously playing for this party. And he goes to talk to him. They grab a drink. Nick gets pulled away. And then these two really hot models ladies are like, hi.
I thought it was going to kick off right then and there. I thought they were going to take him into like a back room and we were going to kick it off with a cult.
Yeah.
Because the way everyone was at this party, I was like, did they slip MDMA in that champagne?
Everyone's into each other.
Everyone was like, and the way they're all talking is very like,
But maybe, and I thought about this watching the movie, maybe you and I don't know about that because we've never been to one of those parties. Like a
rich person's
like
party?
a high society. Everyone's like some.
I don't know if you haven't. I have. I catered it.
Okay, as a guest.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I've worked plenty
no.
of them, and they've spit in my face. But you know, the models are all up his butt, and then this Hungarian German man is like, "You are so beautiful."
Purposeful, undetectable European.
Vaguely European.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she doesn't care to ask. She's like, "Oh."
She's like, whatever. She's just dancing. I'm like. Everyone seems off their ass.
Yeah.
But also they all seem like they're recruiting.
I also get it, though, because she's looking at her husband, and he's 4 inches tall, and she's like, this man, I can wear heels and look up at him.
Very baby girl.
Yeah.
Very daddy.
So this guy's like flirting mad heavy. You're right. Everyone's really petting each other heavy.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're just such a beautiful woman. And like really reminding her, I don't know.
Like, why would you be married?
Yeah. Oh my God. Why would you be here with your husband?
When you could have anyone you want.
And then she confesses that she doesn't have a job.
She's like, I'm poor.
Actually, yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Why do any of us get married? To stop working?
I was an art dealer. And he's like, I don't know what that means.
Sure, bitch. That's every fake job for a woman has in a movie.
That's Charlotte's job on Sex and the City.
That was the first thing I thought of. I'm a museum curator.
Yeah, that.
Sorry, I have to get downtown to the gallery. That's it. That's their whole job.
Ziegler pulls Bill away, and the bodyguard is like, it's a little emergency for Mr. Ziegler. Pulls him up into his bathroom study. Like, there's a toilet, and then there's a desk a few feet away, right?
Yes, bathroom study.
And there is a butt-naked butt naked,
Butt
passed
naked,
out
passed
woman.
out. He's also like just getting his pants on. So
He has like trousers and suspenders on, no shirt.
He's clearly just been fucking this passed out woman.
Yeah.
Nearly overdosed woman.
Yeah. And he's like, Tom Cruise is smug the entire movie.
Yes.
The action is smug.
Yes.
And he was like, what happened? Come on.
Come on, sir.
Put two and two together.
We've already talked about how you make house calls for this man. So you're probably waking up
This is not
dead
the
hookers
first
all the
person that
time.
you've seen. And he's like, what happened? And she's like, well, she doesn't say anything. She's asleep. And he's like, oh, well, she did a speedball or a highball. I don't know what it's called. It's coke and heroin.
Jesus, fuck, dude.
And I'm like, okay, she's still, nodding her head along right there.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like sternly talks to her like she's like Labrador.
This was the first moment where I was like, all right, I cannot take your character seriously. For somebody who's so method, give us something that even resembles a real doctor in practice.
Or like give us like, there is someone clearly maybe dying in front of you, and he has the tone level that like someone had shit on the floor.
Do anything medical. He literally is just like, can you hear me? Look at me.
Move your head.
Shake your head. Open your eyes.
And she's like,
dude, I'm dying. Do you have anything on you, maybe?
bro, my heart hurts, okay? I had a
Like-
Celsius before this. I'm not feeling well. He's like,
Oh.
I'd give it another hour before you have someone take her home.
Just let her sit here for a while.
Yeah.
Keep making her nod her head.
Let her sit in the study bathroom. Maybe she can read a book for a little while the shower
IRL
runs.
would have been dead.
Oh, yeah. And Ziegler's like, I really owe you, man. Thanks.
No, he goes, an hour.
Just let her sit here for an hour.
How am I going to keep my wife out of the bathroom
For
study
an
for an
hour.
hour?
What if my wife has to take a deuce?
What if my wife needs to write a letter and use the bidet?
Where's she supposed to go? He's like, I don't know, put a tablecloth over her, but she needs to sit here for an hour.
What the fuck? So fucked up.
So
he's like a shitty doctor to the elite.
yeah, he's there,
Yep.
The next day, afterwards, Bill and Alice are smoking a little pot.
Smoking a little pot.
They're smoking a little pot.
What's funny is my first thought was like, ew, in your bedroom? That shit stank. Like you have a 6-year-old.
And I'm sure they have a balcony at that apartment.
Of course they do. Yeah. They're in their sheets. I'm like, your bed is going to stank.
No, she's just ashing straight into the sheets.
Literally, yeah. Okay, this scene really bothered me.
Why?
The overacting.
Oh.
The overacting of being high, which to be fair might be accredited to them probably needing to do this scene 85 times.
The conversation that they have is definitely a conversation that I think more people would have drunk, a little tipsy, much rather than being stoned.
She was a little aggro to be stoned.
And he's like, the weed is making you say crazy things. It's like, no.
The weed is making you aggressive. I'm like, when does that ever happen
She'd
to
be
anyone?
like in the bed giggling. And
be aggressively eating snacks and on my ass.
Yeah, twiddling her hair and being like, some old Australian man was flirting with me. And he's like, what? Instead, she's like, very much telling her husband that she has fantasies. That's it. She's not confessing that she's ever cheated. She's not doing anything crazy, right?
She was a little annoying about it.
Sure.
It's one thing to be like, I've had fantasies about other men. It's another to be like, I saw a stranger in a hotel lobby and decided if he wanted to fuck me, I would leave you immediately.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. I also think, though, it's like it plays in contrast to the fact that Dr. Bill, is trying to tell her, like, well, you would never do anything because, like, almost saying, like, women don't, he's saying, like, women don't have fantasies. Women don't leave.
She's like, oh, you're so sure of yourself. And he's like, no, I'm sure of you.
Yeah, and he is. And he's like, no, like.
You would never do that to me.
You would never do that. And she's like,
bitch,
I thought about it.
I was going to abandon my child for a one night with a naval officer.
With a seaman. I was going to get some seaman from some seaman.
Yeah.
Okay? And leave you in the dust.
And then I was like,
and then she's like, wait, I don't have a
gallery
job.
business is pretty slow, actually.
I need my doctor husband. From this, like, small seed, Dr. Bill goes a little crazy.
Off the rails.
Again, he is getting prisoner of war flashbacks.
Because he's getting like, I'm not jealous. I'm not, he's like, I'm not the jealous type. And to be fair, as a woman, that is one of the most annoying things you could hear.
Really?
Yes. It's probably annoying for anybody. In the past, when I've had boyfriends that are like, I'm not really the jealous type. In my mind, I go, want to bet?
My bad. Let's put that to the test.
Yeah, let's do it right now.
I'm a very jealous person. And it doesn't
Me
come from
too.
insecurity. It's just that, like,
No.
I don't want someone else
No.
messing around with you.
It comes from my possessive nature and my need for revenge.
Yeah.
I'm a Scorpio, in case you couldn't tell.
There's also a little bit there's like something a little playful though to like try to
Yes.
make somebody a little jealous.
That is absolutely playful. And also to me, if you are jealous about your partner, it means you give a shit.
Boyfriend's like, I'm not a jealous type because I don't really fucking care about you.
Yeah, you're like, okay, then why am I here?
Yeah. Go do what you want. I'm gonna play video games. And you're like, okay.
I guess I cut to my last marriage. Oh, here's what you missed on Millennial Movie Club. Jazz got divorced.
Glee. Back to this movie. Dr. Bill is called almost like right away.
If this were an actual like medical call and he's on call as a doctor and he's just getting fucked up.
Stoned.
Yeah.
He walks in, he's just giggling. He's like, I'm sorry your dad died. Do you guys have Cheetos?
Yeah.
And they're like, we're billionaires. What's a Cheeto?
Correct.
Gets called to this home where there is a dead man in the bed. And the daughter, who in the, before it's recast, was Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Fun fact, other people that were in the mix, Kubrick really liked the idea of casting a real life married couple. And originally he wanted Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger. He also liked the idea of Steve Martin, which I think would have been the fucking weirdest call.
Steve Martin is Dr. Bill?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what? It didn't specify.
Ziegler?
Maybe for Ziegler.
Okay.
That makes more sense. This whole time I've been like, Steve Martin.
Steve Martin's like, oh
as
my
Dr.
God.
Bill. Oh,
She's
no.
no, she's dead in the chair in my study bathroom.
Ding, 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 ding. He pulls out his banjo.
Playing the fucking banjo.
I would have only murders in my building would have been. I would have been the corpse watching him at a sex cult. The movie would have been as kooky as the score. Did you think about how the score was like the beginning of and the end? The score was very like kind of slapstick movie, and then the
Like
rest
a
of the
piano
movie
falling out of a window.
And then the rest of the movie, the score is just like bing bong, like two keys on the piano over and over. I was like, I hate it. Okay.
I did watch it with AirPods in though, and I had to turn it down at one point because those keys were like fingering my brain. It was like, boom.
Not in the fun way.
Bill is called to the patient's home where the guy is dead and the daughter is like, oh, my dad's dead. And then she's like, I might move to Michigan. And he's like,
With my boyfriend.
Michigan's a beautiful state. This woman, Mary, and the daughter just is like, I don't want to go there though.
Launches herself.
I want to be with you. And
launches herself at his face.
kisses Tom Cruise.
Him. And is like, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I know, but I love you. She also strangely vaguely European.
Yes.
No one is from anywhere specific.
Yeah, she had a slight accent.
We're like, is she German? Is she what?
What is she? Is she?
Whatever she was wearing a bad lace front wig.
She did look, and she was giving me young Jessica Lange down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call.
And then her boyfriend comes in.
I don't want to go away with my boyfriend, Carl.
To Michigan.
To Michigan. Meanwhile, Carl walks in.
He's like,
stunning.
Oh.
Tall. Oh, you didn't like him?
Nope.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
for
that's
me.
not your type.
We have different tastes.
We do have very different tastes. I like long, tall daddy. Yeah.
And what do I like?
I know what you like. I'm not gonna say it on the pod. Actually, no, I will. You like anyone who looks like Bad Bunny.
Okay, fair.
If you want me
You're
to cut
right.
that, I will.
No, I don't want to cut that. That's
Okay,
fine.
great.
People can know. If you look like Bad Bunny, you listen to this. Hit me
Right
up.
in.
And then he sees the doctor, the boyfriend, and he's like, oh, thank you for coming, whatever. No, he's like, he doesn't even realize, like, they were just making out above the dead guy. And from all this, Bill's like, I need a walk. I need some fresh air. Mm-hmm. So he walks through the fakest West Village you've ever seen in your life. Mm-hmm. And maybe walks he does get hate crimed.
He gets hate crime by a bunch of white Yale students.
Yeah. And they call him the F slur repeatedly.
They're like, go back to San Francisco where you belong. I was like, what does that even mean?
Also, not the first time Tom Cruise has heard that. So
I'm sure not.
He was like, oh, and Kubrick was like, I wrote this part for you.
I want it to be as triggering as possible.
And then he runs into this woman who is a sex worker, And we know from the jump, from her outfit, but she goes
The
by.
only reason we know from her outfit is because she's wearing a lot of fur
Yeah.
and like a mini skirt in December. But she looks
And she's like, I'm Domino. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Who is it?
Ah.
Because I knew right away.
Allison
From Hocus Pocus.
from Hocus Pocus.
Yabos.
Yabos.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's the
she
same
was
actress.
like, I need to get away from the Disney of it all. I need to do something edgy.
You know who else auditioned for that?
Who?
Melissa Joan Hart.
Thank God.
Can you
She
imagine?
did not get that part. Ew, cringe.
Imagine Sabrina the
Sorry.
Teenage Witch being like, I'm Domino.
Loved her and Sabrina. Clarissa explains it all. But I don't think that woman has 1 ounce of sexuality in her whole being. Oh,
Tell that to
God.
her husband and 4 kids.
It'd be like if Hillary Duff did it. I'd be like, ah.
But Domino pulls him into her apartment. And like,
That's the weirdest part, is that she's like, I live right here.
she's literally like, I live literally right behind her.
Yeah.
And he's like, you live right here? And she's like, yeah. This is what gets me. Nicole Kidman was like, I had a fantasy about leaving you, right? And she's stoned and giggly and is like,
Yeah.
kind of like weird about it. But she's like, all I had was a fantasy. This guy's like,
I'm going to go home with a hooker right now.
I'm going to explore like everything, right? And so he's like in the apartment of this woman who does sex for a living.
She's clearly a student at like NYU.
And he's a doctor.
Yeah. You see like in her room, there's a book that just says Introducing Sociology. They're like, oh girl, you're paying for your tuition? Is
And
that
then
what's happening?
his phone goes off. And it's Nicole Kidman, and she's like eating Oreos and smoking a cigarette.
Excuse me, they were Snackwells.
Of course.
I was very aware that they were Snackwell's Devil's Food cookies. A staple in my home.
I've never had one of those.
Okay, well, that's going to change soon.
She's like, are you coming home? And he's like, oh, God, the family members haven't come in yet. I've been busy making out with the daughter. But he's like, family members haven't
She's
come
like,
yet.
it's 2 a.m. She's like, we're still waiting for the ancestors to arrive.
The ancestors. What gets me about this movie is about Tom Cruise opening and closing his wallet.
1,000%.
All this man does is take out his wallet and go,
You know what? Let me just pay you for this anyway.
keep the change.
Let me just pay you $200 more than
Yep.
the price of this
Keep the
thing.
change.
I'm a doctor.
I'm a doctor.
and I deal in cash.
I have $300 in cash in my wallet at all times.
Also, I'm sorry, but that girl needs to upcharge. She was going to let him do whatever he wanted to her for $150.
And she says she doesn't keep track of time.
Girlfriend,
Girl, get a stopwatch.
you better keep
150,
time.
20 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
it's called. They used to call it making time. Okay, for a reason.
and he's like, oh, okay, I'm not going to have sex with her. Stumbles upon the jazz club where Nick Nightingale, his former, classmate, is playing piano.
This whole movie is also like about to do a thing, and then it doesn't happen.
And stumbling upon something else.
Yes,
Right? Sometimes life stumbles upon us.
that's right. Especially in fake New York.
I'm so sorry. Excuse me. I keep drinking these kombuchas before this. It's disgusting.
Now we're even.
You didn't drink kombucha before this?
Nope, that's just me.
That's just me.
I just reroute all my farts.
Well, like, oh, okay. The club? The jazz club?
Yeah.
A dream. Sees Nick Nightingale. Nick Nightingale gets off and he's like, let's have a drink. They sit there kikiing, chit-chatting. And Nick's like, I'm here, though, because I'm doing this. And he goes, well, I've also been doing something else. And Tom Cruise, who just is grinding his teeth from being on coke, is like, tell me. You gotta tell me. And Nick is like, well, I've been playing piano blindfolded. And he's like, I'm intrigued. He goes, well, the blindfold kind of slipped. And I saw the women. Mind you, he mentions nothing about the fact that they're like dressed like satanists.
Yeah, that it's a literal cult.
And they're doing like a backwards vocoder chants. And he's like, the women. And Tom Cruise is like, you gotta get me in there. And Nick's like, dude, you need a costume though.
One of my patients owns a costume store.
Rainbow.
I'm gonna wake him up in the middle of the night.
I was also thinking, when I saw Rainbow, I was like, oh my God, Rainbow, the clothing store.
The sex club store.
Oh.
Sex club store. You're thinking other Rainbow.
I'm thinking Rainbow,
there's a sex toy store in Chelsea called Rainbow.
I wouldn't
That's
know.
what I thought of.
I don't go to things like that. Only way I'm on my knees is to pray to God. That patient moved away a long time ago.
Yeah.
New guy, Mr. Millage, owns it. Lets him in. He's like, what do you need? They're going through it. And then he hears this noise. This is... the movie's long, and there's certain storylines I don't need.
I just... No. Well, especially if you're not going to give us any resolution to, like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. And Mr. Millage discovers that his teenage daughter is in the room with 2 old men.
Not only 2 old men.
I don't know why they had to be Asian men.
2 Asian men dressed like women, wearing wigs and makeup in their underwear after consuming what looks like an insane amount of Chinese food, like double teaming his young daughter.
It was weird. So he gets his costume, a cloak and a mask, and he takes a cab out to Long Island. God damn.
All the sexual tension.
It's making me nervous. It's bubbling out of me. The devil's juice.
Scared.
And
we're having a bad reaction to the movie, just like the
reviewer said. He rolls up to this mansion and he's like, tells the cab driver to wait. That scene is scary.
Yes, it is.
And I love scary movies. That made me uncomfortable.
That's good.
You know?
Yeah.
And there's something about me about scary movies. Stuff that is realistically scary frightens me much more than like ghouls and demons and stuff,
For
right?
Sure.
What's scary about this movie is like, yeah, what if you were being very curious?
This is basically a Diddy party with more chanting.
Yeah, or an Epstein party.
But
it's very realistic that you're curious and you end up at one of these things and then it's like, uh-oh, these people want to kill me. So at this party, they're doing the chanting. Nick is off blindfold playing his piano.
Yeah.
He's Mozart in the corner.
Yeah.
From Peanuts.
Yeah, a circle of women on their knees.
Uh-huh.
All masks.
Who then drop the cloaks and they're butt naked, still heels on.
No, they have little black thongs.
Oh, you're right. They have little dental floss thongs on.
Yeah, it's like when you go to get a spray tan and they give you like paper underwear. That's what they give you.
Do they?
Yeah.
I've never gotten that.
In case you don't want self tanner in your vagina, I say, get it up in there.
Do they give it to guys too? Do you know?
I don't know.
Or do guys just go butt naked?
Probably naked.
And their penis is like sprayed.
You don't want a pale peen with a tan bod.
I don't know any pale peens.
I don't know you. I don't know that guy.
For some reason, though, the women start to disperse and they start grabbing people to take them off into corners and all this stuff. One woman goes straight to Dr. Bill and she's like, I know who you are and you need to get out of here. You're in grave danger.
You're in grave danger. You have to leave now.
The entire movie, we never figure out how she knows it's him.
If it happened after he took his mask off,
yes,
I would get it.
But it happens before. Like if he was wearing like Air Force Ones and she's like,
you don't belong here.
Right. And she's like, oh my God, I can tell by your shoes. Right. He's dressed up like everybody else there.
He's like, what? I'm just wearing my Nickelodeon Slime Time Live sneakies. You can, my Heelys.
What gave it away? Is he's like healing through the hallway. And she's like, slow down.
You don't belong here. Oh.
You don't belong here. And then she's like, says it again. She's like, you gotta go.
He's like, no. And then he starts walking through the place. And then you're like, oh, okay, there's some sex happening. There's like on tables. There's people watching.
There's people kissing and licking and everything else. And then some guy comes up. He's like, hey, are you the guy that has the taxi waiting outside? He goes, okay, well, the taxi driver's at the door. They pull him through. And then he gets into that ballroom again.
Back into the ceremonial chamber.
Everybody and their mother is there. They stop fucking to come watch this.
Uh-huh.
What's the password? And he's like,
Fidelio.
And they're like, great. What's the second password?
I forgot.
Whether you forgot it or never knew it, you don't belong here. Take your mask off. Takes his mask off, and they're like, oh my God, it's Tom Cruise.
Oh my God, it's Tom Cruise.
Oh my
God.
God.
You do belong here.
Oh my God, he started this. And they're like, all right, now take your clothes off. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to see Tom Cruise butthole naked. And then
also, like, again, why is that? Like, I was expecting them to be like, now we sentence you to death.
Yeah, I thought they were just going to shoot him.
Everyone there is naked. Who cares? He's like, no.
He's like, no, I have a really small penis.
I am not a tripod.
No. Luckily, this woman who had been warning him the whole time comes boobily sauntering into the room up top. And she's like, Stop.
I am prepared to redeem him or something. To make the ultimate sacrifice to save him.
Everyone's gasped. As if, like, everyone's in on what this means, right? Like, there are clear rules to the hierarchy of this thing. And they're like, whisper. And then she says again, she's like, he goes, do you realize what you're saying? Yes. Whisper. I'm like, what?
I'm also like, to be fair, I knew who she was from the jump.
I did not.
So I go, okay, you're going to sacrifice your life for this one rich white doctor who, like, just stumbled into the wrong sex party.
And she's like, yeah, I am.
Bitch.
He leaves, but not before they give him warning. They're like, look, don't look into this. Don't come back here. Mm-hmm. All right?
What does he do?
He does exactly that.
He looks into it and comes back there.
And it's kind of crazy. This movie only takes place over like 3 days.
I kept going, wait, this was last night?
Yeah. Everything happens
It
the next
felt
day.
like it took 4 days to watch it. He, next day, is like, gotta return my costume, gotta find Nick Nightingale.
He goes to Nick Nightingale's hotel. Who's there?
Alan
Cumming!
My favorite part of the movie.
Oh, I was like, oh my God. What is he, like 26?
Oh my God. He was so delightfully fruity.
And so into Tom Cruise the whole time. He's
oh
like,
my God.
like giving away secrets that he'd probably fired from the hotel. He's just like, he was taken away this morning.
It's so funny because he's like, actually, he checked out this morning. And then he's like, was there anything weird about it? And then he's like, well, now that you mention it, there was something kind of weird.
His face was all beat up and he was like pulled out of here by 2 big dudes.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
He was definitely being kidnapped, Daddy.
Does that sound weird to you?
Should we talk about it over a drink?
We want to go look at his room, just the 2 of us?
Oh, so delightful. Delightful cameo.
Bill then, though, returns the costume.
Yes. Oh.
They're looking through the bag and he's like, oh no, the mask isn't here.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, oh, this guy's going to get him up the ass for this mask. The mask is $25.
$25. $100 for the rental.
$200 that he's...
$200 that he decided
because he's overpaying for
and
everything.
And then $25. I'm like, first of all, $100 to rent a $25. What are we doing here? Anyway, he's at the counter paying for all this stuff. And out of the back room...
Who walks out?
The 2 Asian dudes from the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, last night. But they're dressed in regular suits.
Uh-huh.
Coming out with his child daughter.
Mimi Siku's girlfriend is coming out too.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, wait.
And Tom Cruise is like, wait, last night you were going to call the cops on them. What's going on now? And this guy, Mr. Millich, is like, we figured something else out. Trust me.
We found an arrangement.
Look around this costume shop. Nobody's in here.
Yeah.
People aren't renting costumes like that anymore.
This is a front.
Yeah, okay.
For me whoring my child daughter. I was like, what's going on? And he's just like, he's so icked out.
And still amidst all this, we see him, he's like, you know what? I'm going to go back to that mansion. While he's driving, he's still having those war flashbacks of Nicole Kidman getting fingered.
After all this, he's like, still, and they're like old-timey. They look like they're in the 1940s, like World War II era
he's
sexy time.
War flashbacks, prisoner of war flashbacks, and he's like...
Of his wife getting diddled that never happened.
Yeah, an affair to remember going on in his brain, and he's like trying to drive over the George Washington Bridge. He goes back, car rolls up, hands him an envelope, this old butler guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, through the gate.
Yeah.
Like, take this.
Take it.
Read this. Opens it up, and it's like, bitch, we thought we told you to stay away.
We said... Beat it.
Are you a tampon? Get out of our pussy. Okay?
Literally, stop asking questions. This is your second warning.
Yeah.
Or your family will be in danger or whatever.
He's like, oh, God. And this whole time, my wife still, like, wants to fuck a naval officer. So he goes, I'm going to see how my girl Domino's doing.
Yeah, I'm going to go see if I can fuck that prostitute again.
And
try to fuck her this time.
Brings her a box of cookies.
That was the weirdest part.
He's very kind.
He's just so formal for somebody who's...
Her roommate's home, and her roommate's like, hey, and they start kind of getting frisky for a second.
Yeah, literally, she's like, oh, Domino said you were nice to her. Anyway, come on in. And then they're like, he's like feeling her up. I'm like,
I have to tell you something.
What's going on?
Since you were with Domino last night, and I'm sure Domino told him that they didn't, or told her that they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But still, she's like, Domino has HIV.
She got a test this morning.
That was so strange.
Why?
And
why?
1999, we're not fully out of the AIDS crisis, of course.
Yes.
Nowadays, having HIV is not a death sentence, and plenty of people
absolutely
live full lives.
1000%.
Positive and undetectable.
For sure.
But it's such a, like, weird story thing in this where she's just like, yeah. And he
Good
goes,
thing you didn't have sex with that prostitute.
Right.
Right.
And he's like, and she's like, they're both kind of staring at each other.
It's like, well, I guess I should go.
And she's like,
yeah.
And it almost feels like, and we don't know what the point of this movie is, and I try to look up what people's opinions are.
That's true.
It feels a little anti-sex.
Yes, it does.
Right?
It feels a little like anytime a woman has a desire, chaos breaks loose.
Well, and if you're a man that strays and has, like, you go seek the work of a sex worker, like, look what could happen, right?
Sex
like,
work is work, my guy.
But they're like, look, good thing you didn't do that, right? Because you almost got AIDS. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay.
Cool. All right.
Okay. And if you go to the scary Epstein sex party, they're going to follow you. So it's like everything feels very anti-sex.
Yes, it does. It's only for the rich and elite, and even then, it's very dangerous.
Mm-hmm. And what else is dangerous? Getting followed around in the scary fake West Village by somebody.
Bald guy. No offense.
No offense, but we are terrified.
Every movie needs the bald gay confidant.
And this one is chasing him around the West Village.
Right.
And have you ever been to the West Village? A bald guy will chase you around.
Oh, 1,000%.
But Bill buys a paper and sees in the paper that this like former beauty queen has OD'd in her hotel room. And things start clicking in his doctor brain.
Well, yeah, because it's the same beauty queen that was passed out in the study bathroom.
And he goes to the morgue, looks at her, and then it clicks and he realizes that this is the woman that told him at the party in the mask.
I was like, can we get a titty ID? Do these nippies match?
Just straight from her boobs, too.
Literally.
And bush. And I was like, that's nuts.
That is absolutely nuts.
And then he gets a call from who? Mr. Ziegler. Mm-hmm. He's like, I need to see you at the house. I know that you were at the sex party.
I know everything you've been doing for the last 24 hours.
And how do I know that? Because I was there.
I was there, and then I've had you followed.
I was wearing that mask, and he was like, I was getting my ass ate on the table in the study.
What were you thinking?
What were you thinking? Why did I look over while I was getting my butt ate, and I see my doctor there?
It was a major boner killer.
God, I couldn't
even ask you for my pills.
Ugh. But he's like, what if I told you that everything that happened that night was to scare you?
Right. None of it was real.
None of it was real, and it was all to scare you.
That girl is fine.
That girl is dead, and he confirms it. He's like, Mandy's dead.
He goes, did you see this?
But she was going to die.
I did.
She was going to die anyway.
Let's cut the bullshit.
Right.
That girl.
She was going to die anyway.
She's going to die.
Right. He was like, you saw her in my
She got fucked. She went home. She was fine.
In my bathroom study, you saw her. She's going to die.
Yeah.
But it's like he's planting to see that like maybe it's all fake. But we know it's not. Or do we? I don't know.
But that's the other thing, too, that pissed me off is that we don't ever know.
And he's like, Nightingale, he went home. Was it Nightingale, Nottingham?
Oh, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, he's fine. He went home. He was like, he was all covered in bruises and escorted. He was like.
He fell down the stairs.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Huh.
Anyway.
He's also like, it was all fake, but also, you need to stay away from these people. So it's like, Ziegler, what's the truth?
What are you doing?
And he's so stressed out, he goes home, opens his door, goes into his room, where his wife, who has done, God bless Nicole Kidman, nothing this whole movie.
Homework with their kid?
She's done nothing this whole movie.
She's done nothing.
Except.
She danced with a guy and then turned him down.
And then got stoned and was like, one time I thought about leaving you. And he's like,
Ah!
He rolls up and that mask that's been missing is sitting on the pillow next to his sleeping wife. And he's like,
that was that scene was so I couldn't handle it. Which to me I was like, okay, was someone in their home? Is that why it's there?
Or she found it.
Or she found it and was like, night.
She's
my
like,
husband's
my
not
husband's
home.
never home. I'm gonna sleep next to this mask.
Ugh.
Also, imagine waking up out of a dead sleep. I know you're dreaming about. She has that scene where she talks about she's dreaming about being fucked by a bunch of.
Oh,
men.
we forgot about that. That bizarre. She's
So
like,
weird.
oh yeah. That I hated that scene.
But imagine waking up out of a dead sleep and Tom Cruise is crying like that to you. He's like, and you're like, oh my
I'll
god.
tell you everything.
Oh my god.
She's like, bitch, I didn't ask.
What?
Meanwhile, I was also like, okay, Nicole Kidman, you've been oversharing this whole film.
Yeah.
If my husband came home and I was having a dream like that and he was like, what were we dreaming about? I'd be like,
My teeth fell out.
yeah, it was just one of those, oop, I can't find my locker in my high school.
Yeah.
I don't know where my next class is. I'm failing. Like,
We should send the Zieglers a thank you note.
yeah, not like, we don't need to go.
She's like, I was getting human centipede railed. And it was so scary.
And making fun of you and laughing at you.
Yeah, and we were laughing at your tiny penis. He's
yeah.
like,
He's like, what the fuck is going on?
huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go visit my good friend. What was her name? Diamond?
Domino.
Domino.
No wonder.
So
help.
he confesses everything. The next day they go Christmas shopping.
Yeah, she's like distraught.
No, she's smoking a cigarette and her eyes are red.
Bloodshot
She's
from
like, oh
being
my
up
God.
all night hearing this crazy shit about her husband now putting their family in jeopardy from going to a rich people's sex party.
And
Which, to
that's-
be fair, I don't know why they wouldn't be on the invite list to begin with, because they are rich.
They're not at that echelon.
Yeah.
No, they're like us.
They're
like,
the help.
Yeah, they're like, you can come cater it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can come wake up my dead prostitute, but
Imagine like passing around hors d'oeuvres while someone's just like getting railed against the pool table with a mask on, and you're like, crudité, and they're like, what's in this?
Quiche. Is this vegan?
I'm gluten free.
Vegan options, please. No, there was dairy in it.
And like throw ups in the mask. And we're at this Christmas store, and they're a toy store.
Also, they're like, we told Helena we would take her Christmas shopping, which is like, what does that mean? Christmas? You don't take your kid Christmas shopping. So what? They just look around and she tells you what she likes, then
Honestly,
you buy it later.
Amazing idea.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And it's like, and the little girl's
then
like,
you know what she wants.
I would die if Santa brought me this. And I'm like, maybe he will.
Maybe he will. Guess we'll
Thank
see.
you.
Maybe you'll
Snaps
die.
a photo of it with my iPhone that they didn't have back then.
Yeah.
And Stanley Kubrick ends his directing lifetime. His whole career is ended by him directing Nicole Kidman to say, well, you know what we got to do now to fix this. And Tom Cruise is like, what? What do we have to do? And she just goes,
Fuck.
Credits.
Blackout. I was just like, what was the fucking point?
What?
She's like, I guess we should be grateful that dreams are just dreams, but are they sometimes real if they never were a dream in reality? And you're like, what?
He's like, are you stoned again? She's like, what?
Literally.
She's like, I found your mask.
Now we have to fuck. It's like, okay, women are the devil.
And he's like,
the devil.
He's like, right now?
in this
toy store?
In this, what's that old toy store that
FAO Schwartz.
In this FAO Schwartz.
Tom Hanks is doing the big dance and we need to fuck. She's like,
he's running across the keyboard.
And then in the background, you just see Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise going at it.
Railing on
He's
a teddy
standing
bear.
on a step stool. So what are your thoughts? We kind of dish out a bunch of thoughts.
If we're going to be this bizarre and this like out there, I need more resolution. I need more than just a maybe it was real, maybe it wasn't. And also, like, why is Nicole Kidman still so fucking weird? Like, what? Their relationship feels weird.
Yeah.
Like, you don't ever really see them happily married, which is fine. But also, like,
yeah, and I do like that it kind of touches on, not kind of, but it does touch on like the masculinity being incredibly fragile.
For sure, love that.
And I think that was more of a conversation post metrosexuality, so post 2007.
Yes.
So 1999, us talking about like, yeah, a man who is the breadwinner and everything else, like he has an ego that's about to snap, you know?
Yeah.
But there was just a lot of it that I was like,
I'm gonna rank this. I'm gonna rank this 2 out of 10 Dominoes.
Really?
Yeah, I did not like it. I really didn't like, and maybe it's because there was so much improv, but the actors didn't seem to me to be like truly secure in their scenes, and which is why I think there's so much dead air and sort of like uncertainty and repetition, and like it feels to me like he said to them, if you don't know what to say, just repeat, and then see where it goes.
I did like the movie for the most part. It's not as thrilling as I'd like a thriller to be,
right?
And it's not as sexy as I'd like a sexual thriller to be.
We waited so long for like some kind of payoff, and we just like didn't really get it.
My biggest question though, because what I did like is almost everything that I thought was maybe like a throwaway or maybe just an establishing thing to the character is called back and answered. Biggest question I have: how does Mandy, that woman who is coked out and heroined out
and dead and dies at the end,
how does she know that that's Tom Cruise?
Right.
We
when
never
he has
find
his
that
mask
out. He has a mask on and he's wearing the same, like we never find out.
Unless like here's my only thought is that no, because they were already all in the room during the ceremony when he first walked in.
And
it would just be if she saw him walk in.
And we don't see that. We're not clued into that. And when she's all zoinked out in the bathroom, she's barely got her eyes open.
That's
so
true.
It's like, it's not like you're going to remember this man, like truly. You're going to wake up in your apartment and be like, how did I get here?
Correct.
I was just
at
at Ziegler's party doing the
speedball,
Charleston.
Snowball, snow cone.
Yeah.
You're not going home
And
recognizing.
like, oh my God, this really beautiful short doctor came in.
He saved my life by just telling him to open my eyes a couple times. Just open your eyes. That's all that's all you need to do.
She's like, no one's ever told me that before.
My eyes were physically and metaphorically opened for the first time.
And now they're open.
And now they're wide shut.
I would give this film, I give this 6 wolf flashbacks of your wife getting fingered out of 10. Okay?
What made it a 6 that you liked about it?
Oh, see, now you're asking too tough a question.
You're like, I liked it, but couldn't tell you why.
Couldn't tell you why.
It's more of a vibe.
I don't know. I just liked it.
That's fair. Just like the tone of it.
I like the tone of it. I liked the piano music as much as it was like really scratching my brain at a certain point. It was reminiscent to me of something like The Shining, right? Yeah. But
suspense.
Yeah. And like I do again like that, like there wasn't, we talk about dead air, yes, but there wasn't a whole lot of like throwaway story stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that Shining answered more of my questions than this did.
Oh, yeah.
But it can't all be The Shining until maybe we do The Shining. Who knows? If there is a movie, you listener, that you would love for us to review, please write us. Please DM us.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. We would love to do the movies that you want to do so that we don't have to figure it out every week. LOL. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Please be sure to follow the pod wherever you listen. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're watching. And remember, we are doing these full video episodes on YouTube. So
you can see how weird I sit.
You can see us just barefoot on my couch. And if barefoot is even the selling point for you, then that's fine too. We welcome it all. But those little gestures make a huge difference to us. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week on Millennial Movie Club.